Janice Course of Radio, what's this? And Jasper Dayaw, Inquirer, and Jerome Paunan of PIA, Noli Liwanag, Pinas, Cathy Cruz, DWAD, Rick Nicolas, Filipino Mirror, Ray Pilayo, UNTV, Ben Briones, PNA, Nico Apostol of CNN, Paul, oh my God, muntik nang namali. Paul Icamina of Malaya, Eden Santos, Net25, JC Cosico of GNN, Jill Resontok of DWIZ, Meli Tenorio, of course, of Radio Pilipinas. And from other agencies who are training us, we have from Department of National Defense, is Leonie Tresballes, and Attorney Victor Nunez of Metro Manila Development Authority. Okay. So as we, of course, we invited them as part of the Technical Working Committee of the PHST, or the Philippine Standard Time. So at this point, we are, of course, this press conference is called on as we observe the National Time Consciousness Week by virtue of RA 10535, better known as PHST Act. Okay, so I now request our administrator, Dr. Vicente Malano, for his welcome remarks and opening statement. Sir?
Salamat po at welcome po sa lahat ng nandito at mga kasamahan natin sa, lalong-lalo na kasamahan natin sa nagbabantay ng ating panahon. Nung nakaraang bago magpasko nagkaroon ng, taka ditong after Pasko din, nagkaroon ng dalawang mapinsalang bagyo. Yung una si Ogluhan, si Binta, tapos naging si Agaton. Tatlo pala yun, after New Year yung isa. Pero, yun, ito yung isa sa importansya ng standard time. Pasalamat tayo pala sa yung mga tumulong ng ipatas itong Republic Act 10535 led by DLLO. Nandito si kasamahang Rita Maswerte, Pilipinas. Kung hindi po sa kanila, ay hindi po ito siguro naging batas hanggang ngayon. Titingnan natin kung ano yung mga provisions dito sa Republic Act 10535, otherwise known as Philippine Standard Time. Ito po ay naisa batas noong May 2013 at nilaunch natin noong January 2014. Isa sa mga provision po nito is to provide funds for installation, operation, and maintenance of synchronized time devices to be displayed in key public places and to declare the first week of every year as National Time Consciousness Week. So itong first week ng January ay Time Consciousness Week. Yung sinasabi nating provision of funds ay hindi po binigay sa PAGASA yan, yung pondo na yan, para mag-provide ng time devices, kundi yung lahat ng government agency ay pwede silang mag-provide. I-request lang sa DBM, isasama lang sa kanilang pondo. Hindi po mismo ang PAGASA ang binigyan ng pondo ron. Ang mga local government unit ay mayroon na po nakauna doon, dito na lang kaya. Hindi marinig? O dinig na? Oh, ayun. Malayo eh, no? Yun. Binigyan ako. Ginamit ko. Baka mamaya magtampo yung nagbigay sa akin. Sabi ko nga kanina, no? Yung 10535 was enacted into law last May 15, 2013 by the former President Benigno Aquino III. Isa sa mga provisions pa din ay display of Philippine Standard Time in all national and local government offices on their time devices, such as bandy clocks. All these offices shall coordinate every month with PAGASA to synchronize their official time devices. Kahit naman po hindi siguro mag-coordinate sa PAGASA, meaning personal coordinate, meron naman tayo dun sa ating website, yung ating Philippine Standard Time. PAGASA's Time Service Unit is tasked to monitor, maintain, and disseminate the Philippine Standard Time throughout the country. So PAGASA shall operate and maintain timekeeping device through prominently displayed synchronized time devices in all their field stations and other key public places. So mayroon tayong mga nabigyan, lalong-lalo na yung ating mga regional offices, ay meron tayong in-install na time devices and it is synchronized with PAGASA. Yung orasan natin dito sa planetarium. Tawag nito, role ng NTC dito, the NTC shall require the participation and enforce obedience of all government and private TV and radio stations to ensure the synchronization of timekeeping device throughout the country. So mayroong mandato ang NTC. Owners of private television and radio stations who shall fail to synchronize their time devices with the PST during their broadcast shall be penalized with a fine of not less than 30,000. Alam na po natin ito, but not more than 50,000 pesos. And in case of second offense, revocation and cancellation of their franchises to operate. All national and local government offices, including all schools, public or private, shall conduct a continuing information campaign about the value of time and the need for synchronizing of official time. So, Philippine Standard Time, dapat ito yung masunod po natin. Kasi importante kung pumunta tayo sa ibang bansa, kung sasabihin, halimbawa, yung train is arriving in 5 minutes. Talagang doon, synchronize sa time. Sabi ko, meron bang Indian dito? Isa ko lang nakita ng Indian eh. Mas maganda doon yung Filipino time kaysa Indian time. May nakita ko isang Indian eh. Nung kasing, hindi ko alam kung kailan yun. Nagbibiro lang ko din. Ikakasal yung aking pamangkin sa Davao. Sabi niya, parang hindi ko Filipino time eh. Bakit? Hindi dumating. Sabi ko sa kanya, parang bakit hindi dumating yung pare na magkakasal? Indian time to. Yung Filipino time, nalilate lang daw ng konti. Yun talaga hindi dumating. Yung Indian time yung mas maganda yung aming Filipino. Biro lang yan yun yun. Nagbibiro lang ako at huwag mo nang pansinin yung biro na yun. Yung ating dapat ay masunod ay yung Philippine Standard Time na siguro ang accuracy nito is nasa million seconds. Yung ating accuracy. Hindi ko alam kung naka-synchronize yung kasi baka mamaya PAGASA i-penalize. Our time now is 11:22. 11:22. Kung hindi maybe naka 11:22 i-adjust nyo para nakasynchronize tayo. At kung halimbawa magbigay ang pag-asa ng ganitong babala, warning, ay dapat nakasynchronize. Sabi nga natin nun, ang ginagawa kasi ng pag-asa, ang observation natin is synchronized not only with pag-asa stations but worldwide yun. Kung mag-umpisa tayo ng alas 8 or 00 GMT, lahat yan ng mga field stations ng buong mundo ay magkakasabay yun na mag-observe 15 minutes before the time. Halimbawa, mag-umpisa ng mag-observe yun. Diba? Ang observation period is every 3 hours. Mag-umpisa ng alas 8, meaning 7:45, nag-umpisa na yung kung magbasa, kung ano yung babasahin ng mga equipment, instruments. So alas 8, dapat sabay-sabay yan mag-send ng information. Yun, at sana po ay matuto po tayong gumamit ng ating time. At napaka-importante po ito. Sabi ko nga kanina, akong maliit. Nag-usap kami ni kasamang Tani, kumparing Tani. At hindi naman siguro nalik. Yun po, at welcome po sa lahat. At sana i-observe po natin itong Philippine Standard Time. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Vicente Malan, Administrator of PAGASA. Okay, so let's now move on to how to sync Philippine Standard Time. We have here with us Engineer Renato De Leon, Weather Specialist 2 from the Space Science and Astronomy Section of the Research Development and Training Division.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Isa sa mga functions ng PAGASA, aside from giving us the accurate weather forecast, is giving the Philippine Standard Time. At meron tayong batas na sinusunod, mandating PAGASA. Ay, tatlo po yun. Yung una ay yung Batas Pambansa bilang 8, designating PAGASA as the official timekeeper of the Philippines. Sa pangbatas ay yung Presidential Decree 1149, and it mandates PAGASA to disseminate the Philippine Standard Time. At pangatlo ay ito pong tinatawag na Republic Act 10535. At babasahin ko po. It is an act to set the Philippine Standard Time in all official sources throughout the country. Ito na po yung sinabi ni Boss B kanina at naka-English lang dito. This act set PAGASA as the official source of the Philippine Standard Time. It encourages all national and local government offices to display the Philippine Standard Time, exact time sa strategic places sa kanilang mga opisina. Kasama na rin dito yung pag-monitor natin sa mga different radio and TV stations. At sa aming pag-monitor, maganda pong balita dahil na-meet ng mga radio and TV stations yung tolerance ng Republic Act 10535, which is plus or minus 5. Kaya wala pa akong nagbumulta. Ito po yung mga different IP address na ginagamit para ma-synchronize yung ating orasan sa ating internet, sa ating mga computers. I-input lang po natin itong mga IP addresses na ito, isa-isa lang, sa ating time server sa ating computer. At makukuha na po natin yung Philippine Standard Time. Pero kailangan na nakasynchronize tayo doon sa website ng PAGASA para isa. Mamaya tuturo ko po yan kung paano makuha yung Philippine Standard Time. Isa. At dahil doon sa Republic Act 10535, kaya tayo naka-procure ng isang state-of-the-art or top-of-the-line equipment known as the cesium beam atomic clock. Pero nawala po yung picture niya, mukhang may kumuha. Mahal po kasi ito. I-describe ko na lang po yung specifications niya. This is the main source of our time. Exact. It is so precise that it will need 30 million years bago magkamali yung kanyang pag-disseminate na oras. Ganun po ka-precise yung ating equipment na ito. It consists of 3 high-performance cesium clocks. Ito po yun. Pero yung naka-display ay Universal Time Coordinate, UTC. It uses GNSS timing information. GNSS, ito ay parang GPS or ibig sabihin nito, Global Navigation Satellite System. Para siyang GPS. At ito ay naka-install nga doon sa ating planetarium. Commissioned by the Microsemi Corporation and accepted by PAGASA noong July 23, 2015. Ito po yung mga future plans para makatulong ito pong pinipresent ko ay may kopya naman po kayo. Hindi lang ma-access dito sa laptop. Ito. Ito naman yung mga timing equipments that PAGASA used as NTP or Network Time Protocol servers. Itong nasa itaas ay naka-install sa weather and flood forecasting building. At ito namang nasa ibaba ay isang backup server na naka-install sa PAGASA Astronomical Observatory. Ito rin yung ginagamit namin para pag may nagtanong ng oras o kaya nagsisynchronize sila sa kanilang internet, ginagamit namin ito. At future plans ito, may plano ang PAGASA na mag-distribute ng mga parang ganun na time server, pero ang pangalan niya is the 600 Rubidium Oscillator with master clock. na di-display sa bawat stasyon ng Pag-asa. Lahat ng PRSD services ay magkakaroon sa Northern Luzon, Southern Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Ngayon, ituturo ko naman yung kung paano i-synchronize yung inyong orasan sa inyong mga laptop. Kailangan naka-access tayo sa website ng Pag-asa kung saan naka-display yung Philippine Standard Time, which is the exact time. Pindutin lang yung orasan sa ibaba ng inyong computer, lalabas ang isang window. Pindutin yung internet time settings at palitan yung server at IP address ng inyong server ng isang address ng Pag-asa, IP address doon sa box na to. And then click update now. Then click OK. Automatic makaka-synchronize na kayo sa time ng Pag-asa or Philippine Standard Time. At pwede rin kayo tumawag sa weather and flood forecasting to synchronize your time. At sa Pag-asa Observatory na rin. Ito naman yung mga future plans ng aming division na Research and Development Training Division. Yung project na to, Supply Delivery Engineering, Installation, and so on. Ito po, tapos na po yung dalawa dyan, yung South, Visayas and Northern Luzon, tapos na po yung project na yan. Yung Mindanao and Southern Luzon na lang ang di pa na-install. Ito po yung in-install sa kanila, worth 8 million pesos. Ito naman yung isa pang project kung saan mag-install tayo ng digital clock sa bawat stations sa mga regional villages ng Pag-asa. It is worth 2,673,000 pesos. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Nato de Leon, for the presentation. So, at this point, let's hear from Ms. Lita Felipe, the Chief of the DOST-PAGASA on the salient features of RA 10535.
Good morning po. Una sa lahat, gusto kong batiin ng magandang umaga lahat po ng mga nakatulong sa amin when we were doing the implementing rules and regulation of the Philippine Standard Time, RA 10535. Sa totoo lang po, lahat ng media outfits, the big media outfits, ABS-CBN and then the GMA, yung kanilang mga big bosses attended all our IRR meetings. That's why I think, and I asked Mr. Dario if the media is compliant with our Philippine Standard Time rule, which is always being given during their broadcast. So far, wala daw pong violation. Why? Because all of them were really interested in really pushing for the implementation of the Philippine Standard Time. Kasi po, kaakibat ng Philippine Standard Time is also the discipline on time, valuing time. So, hindi lang ho kami panalo na merong Philippine Standard Time. Pwede na nating isabay ang Philippine Standard Time sa American Time kasi more conscious na ang ating mga kasama ang ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Put on the body of time. I was coming here this morning, I use Uber. And yung pong Waze niya at saka yung time device sa kotse niya, sync sa Philippine Standard Time. So, sabi ko, compliant tayo for the last how many years? 2013 na pasa yung batas. And in-implement natin to in 2014, January, when the IRR took effect after 15 days ng publication. And so far, wala hong media outfit na nag-violate. Every time you tune in into your radio and TV, they say, time check, and then they will state the time, and then they will say Philippine Standard Time. And my personal monitoring on the Philippine Standard Time is actually the media outfit that actually the biggest contributor in terms of really implementing the Philippine Standard Time throughout the country. And if you visit government offices, naka-display yung digital clock nila. Of course, it took a little investment on the part of the offices to buy a digital clock. At makikita nyo, miski sa DepEd, dyan sa CHED, nakalagay yung Philippine Standard Time na digital clock nila. So, even our major thoroughfares may mga oras na rin. So, compliant tayo. And this one law na talagang na-internalize ng mga stakeholder agencies yung kanilang responsibility with respect to synchronizing their timepieces in the office and in the key public places sa Philippine Standard Time. I don't want to belabor the point, but I know that you know the Philippine Standard Time Law RA 10535. So I will not anymore go to the salient features of the law, but just a happy occasion, maybe proudly, kasi binigay na ni Administrator Malano kanina yung gist ng batas. It's not hard to understand because you are all compliant, and we would like to thank you for really helping PAGASA in the Department of Science and Technology. I'd like to make mention of several departments who really helped us in writing, crafting the bill. The Department of Interior and Local Government, the MMDA, yung music ninyo ang madalas umattend sa meeting namin. Religiously, she attended our IRR. And then, of course, my former boss din, si ASEC Liboro and the STIIA group, helped PAGASA and DOST. And then, yung ASEC ng DND. Usually, ang uma-attend sa meeting namin, ASEC at saka USEC. And we're so happy that all the major stakeholder agencies, I'd like to make mention of them, really took to heart the implementation of the Philippine Standard Time. Can you, of course, as a guiding principle, alam naman po natin ito that time is a vital component of our social, political, and economic life. Of course, when you say official time, set and synchronization, it only means that all throughout the country, we celebrate the countdown, yung paghihiwalay ng taon, di ba? Na media outfits, it is a one big event for all the media outfits. GMA, yung paghihiwalay ng taon, yung countdown. So it is all in sync with the Philippine Standard Time. And of course, its value in terms of the medical, the health concerns. And I don't like to belabor the point, but in everything from cradle to grave, component yata natin yung oras. Lahat tayo we have been very mindful of time. And for that, we are all compliant with respect to time. Mula na ngayong huli-huli sa opisina. Pagka time talaga. Next, please. This one, Yusek Malano discussed this. Yung national and local government offices are duty-bound to really follow the Philippine Standard Time mandate. And for all government offices to get in sync with PAGASA and your network time protocol. Next, please. Of course, you know that there is a manner and procedures with respect to accessing the Philippine Standard Time, and for us to be very compliant with respect to the mandate to get in sync with the Philippine Standard Time. Ito po yung mga implementing agencies na katulong namin na ginawa yung IRR, and they are all very supportive. So, you have there the National Telecommunications Commission, the NTC. Some of our meetings on the IRR were held at National Telecommunications Commission, NTC. The DOTC, DOT na lang yan, DOTR, because ICTO is now the ICT. Maybe when we revisit the IRR, sometime later, I think pwede na, 5 years, ilagay na namin yung DICT in the IRR. Kasi mayroon din silang role na pinupulfill with respect to the ICT requirements of the time, in sync with PAGASA's time service unit. And then the National Defense, we also would like to express our thanks to them kasi tinulungan din nila kami during the IRR. DOH, the CHED, the CSE, the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. I was missing Mr. Mario Garcia, who he's always present during our meetings, in addition to the big media outlets representatives who were there, and of course the Philippine Information Office and the Department of Education. So miski sa DepEd po, meron na silang malaking digital clock doon na naka-display. Subconsciously, maganda yon kasi yung mga bata alam nila yung value ng oras, miski sa mga paaralan. Next please. Ito po nasabi na ni Dr. Milano, of course all national government agencies, so lahat dyan, GOCCs, and local government units, government television and radio station, print and private and television and radio station, the private corporation, the agencies, people's organization, and the NGOs. Yung internet, which is actually the fourth media, is actually talagang akmang-akma yung oras nila, saktong-sakto. Next. So, ito na, tingin ko wala pong violation. So, next. Yung, with respect to synchronization. Yung PAGASA Time Service Unit, sinabi na yan kanina ni kasama ko. And it just, the logic behind this one is that the law mandates a special office to really do all this thing. Disseminate, monitor, install, devise, and determine, and also coordinate with the entire S&D system. With respect to synchronization, access and synchronization of the Philippine Standard Time. Next. Ito po, sinabi na rin ang kasama ko kanina. So, next. Ito po, ito lang po yung medyo mabigat ng konti sa Philippine Standard Time. We are putting to task the National Telecommunications Commission to require all private and government media to get in sync with the Philippine Standard Time. Yung enforcement din sa kanila, pati yung hearing and investigation for agencies, media agencies who are not displaying the Philippine Standard Time. But so far, since they are very much engaged in our Philippine Standard Time meetings, I really don't see any violations so far. Personally, and I checked with PAGASA Time Service Office, wala raw po silang na-note na violation. And for that, we are really successful in implementing the Philippine Standard Time. Ito po yung violation, sinabi na medyo maliit yan because the media corporations did some haggling. So 30 to a max of 50,000 for violation, no? So wala naman nagba-violate so far. Ito po yung pinaka-importante because the value of time has to permeate every stage of life ng ating mga kasama, lahat tayo. So kailangan yung Time Consciousness Week, lagi nating nire-reiterate. Already, I think the Filipinos are very mindful of time. So, hindi na natin pwedeng sabihin, sharp ha, American time ha. Wala nang ganun. London time ha. meron na tayong Philippine Standard Time. So I think that to be compliant with the law, we have to say Philippine Standard Time, even in our media branding, because that is being compliant with the law, Republic Act 10535. So, ito po yung essence why we call this meeting, media briefing, to reiterate the time consciousness value for our people. Kasi po, pagka lahat on time, wala hong losers sa ating bayan. Lahat tayo panalo. So every first week of every year, we say a week devoted for being really time-conscious people. So with that, we would like to thank you po lalo na sa ating mga media partners for really helping PAGASA and DOST in the implementation of RA 10535. Salamat po at Happy New Year sa ating lahat.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Lita Suerte Felipe, the Chief of the DOST. DLLO stands for DOST Legislative Liaison Office. Okay? All right, so before we entertain questions, let me acknowledge first the additional participants have here with us. We have Kim D. of PTB4, Presi Lazaro People's Monitor, Miguel Otojo, People's Balita, Stephanie Tumacon of Business Mirror, Michael Balaguer and MJ Balaguer of CharionTagalog.net, Jay Mante of Rocket Manila, and of course Estrella Gallardo of Manila Newsweek. Okay, so sino po ang yes, nako, nangunguna. Please identify yourself para malaman po ng ating...
Good afternoon po. Nauliliwanag ng Pinasa and Philippine1.com. Ma'am, nabanggit nyo na po yung radio station and TV network. Possible po ba yung mga online news, ganun din, maglagay sila ng attachment dun sa kanilang website or online? Thank you.
Okay. Online.
Natin pwede ba si Dario? Pakay.
Ay, Dar.
Kasi yung monitoring kasi ang task ng PAGASA, and then yung mga kung online, mostly naman yung mga online natin na mga time ay Android yung mga ginagamit na rin nila, so automatic naman na nag-a-adjust na yung mga time na.
Sir, pwedeng maging required sa kanila yung may pasok sa kanilang online yung time?
Required kasi ba? Sa batas, di ko nakita doon kung andun sa batas ba yung...
Wala pa po yata. TV and radio lang yung nandun.
Mostly nga gano'n ang din government offices. Siguro pagka mag-update, baka pwedeng yun sa IRR.
Thank you.
Yung IRR after 5 years yun, i-revisit. After 5 years. So, it was implemented on 2014. 14 plus 5, 2019.
Yeah. Sa IRR, actually, we encourage. I think that the term there is encourage. We encourage the private sector to synchronize with the Philippine Standard Time.
Paano po mag-hook yung mga online na hindi pa naka-attach dun sa PAGASA time?
Yung pinakita kanina pinresent ni Engineer Diliman, punta lang dun sa website ng PAGASA, nakita yung PST, pipindutin doon. Tapos may instruction doon kung paano mo i-synchronize yung computer. Ayan.
Thank you po.
Alright, okay. By the way, we provided 2 copies of the presentation. Nandun din po yun. And that includes also the astronomical diary because this month, meron tayong big event in terms of sa astronomy. So, andito po yung mga hepe ng astronomy section natin. Yes, Kathy?
Good morning, everyone. Point of clarification lang kasi may nakita lang ako na konting gray area, no? Paano kung halimbawang isang government agency ang hindi mag-comply? Minsan kasi may napansin lang ako na isang government agency na parang ina-adjust nila yung Monday clock nila, nililate nila ng 5 minutes. And this is very particular also sa LGU and even national government agencies. Di ko na ma-mention kung sino, pero merong ganon. So, sino yung tawag dito? Anong violation ang sino ang magbibigay ng penalty sa kanya o sanction, etc. So, yun lang yung napansin ko. Kasi parang nakatutok lang yung NTC sa mga radio and television. So, how about sa government agencies?
Ma'am, siguro kasi tao nang gumagamit kasi ng hindi na yun sa equipment hindi na sa time natin eh. So personal na yun ng tao. So hindi natin kayang
No, it's government agency eh. It's Bondi clock na nilate nila ng 5 minutes.
Nililate nila.
Nililate nila, sir, kasi para
siguro pwedeng i-report yung dapat may mag-report kasi mostly ang monitor na namin ay yung visible na at saka nadidinig namin radio and TV. So yung iba naman hindi namin kayang i-monitor. So maganda siguro i-report nyo, gumawa rin kayo ng documentation na gano'n, na may time nga na deliberately nililate yung time clock nila.
So, sino magbibigay ng ng penalty? Sino magbibigay ng sanction dun sa government agency?
Ang Pag-asa kasi walang power
Wala
sa
power,
pero yung NTC yata ang may power dun sa IRR namin.
So it's the NTC. Kasi it's the government, pagdating kasi sa government, it's the civil service.
Yes.
Right? Na siya yung mag-sanction kung may mga anomalous na ginagawa or violations. So, paano yun? Government agency?
Yung pong, when we were having the IRR drawn up, the civil service representative also said that hindi sila makaka-aksyon kung walang valid complaint. So in other words, the responsible dapat yung members ng office na yon, 1 or 2 of them, to call their attention. But we don't go to the civil service agad-agad. We just call the attention of the HR. Kasi hindi naman tayo punitive na society. And the reason why NTC is only monitoring the private media groups is because they are the gatekeepers and they go direct to the public. So, siguro tayo, let's just be vigilant na walang ganon. I think that kind of culture is already dying out. But the members of that office should at least call the attention of the HR. Ang dapat ho kasi nun HR, yung HR department nila. See, a few minutes, not really matter. Pero yung pagiging honest mo sa time, it matters.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from Meli Tenorio followed by Paul Camina.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Parang nakatutok lamang po tayo sa sa mga agencies para mag-synchronize ng time. Paano po yung papel halimbawa ng mga matatanda, ng mga ordinaryong magsasaka, yung mga men on the street, yung mga ganon. Paano natin sila matutulungan na ma-synchronize din yung kanilang mga watches? Meron ba tayong dapat isagawa para yung mga manufacturer ng mga relos ay mag-synchronize din dito sa inyong sa ating isinasagawa ngayon? Salamat po.
Sa aking personal na opinion, maganda yung siguro malaki yung role ng LGU siguro kung paano nila mapapasunod yung kanilang constituents, kung paano mapapa-encourage natin yung ating mga kababayan na mayroon na tayong sinusunod ngayon na Philippine Standard Time para yung kanilang mga relos ay nakasynchronize sa PST mismo. At ito yung siguro kailangan din na sigurong i-revisit yung ating IRR dahil nga sa NTC pa lang ba yung, kasi kung NTC kasi parang limitado lang siya dun sa sinasabi ni kasamang Lita kanina, hindi ba dapat na ngayon sa DICT dahil mas mataas na yung DICT? So bago lang kasi nauna itong batas na to bago yung 10535, bago yung naggawa yung DICT.
In addition doon sa sinabi ni Busbik, yung mga manufacturer ng mga clocks ay pag sumasali daw sila ng bidding, pag walang certification ng PAGASA na sila ay nagpa-monitor ng kanilang relo ay hindi tinatanggap. So mostly yung mga gumagawa ng mga relo ngayon, mostly yung mga digital, ay 1 month na nagpapa-monitor doon sa amin. So tinitingnan namin yung synchronization ng clock nila. So saka namin sila binibigyan ng certification para daw makasali sila sa mga biddings.
Alright, so we have additional information from Dr. Aristotle Farandang of SDII.
Thank you very much, Madam Venus. Just for the information of everyone on the things that we do for the advocacy at malaman po ng mga kababayan natin ang kahalagahan ng Philippine Standard Time, ang IRR po nag-aatas sa Science and Technology Information Institute na ngayon po pinamumunuan ni Director Richard Burgos na dapat gumawa po tayo ng mga hakbangin, no? Para maipaalam sa mga tao. Nais po namin ibahagi na simula po noong 2014 after the implementation of the law, just for novelty siguro, the first government office who adopted this is the DOST Region 11, that's Davao. And then also in 2014, the first LGU to adopt this and display yung kanilang orasan sa plaza at sa Kapitolyo was San Pablo City, Laguna. And in 2016, the first LGU po na ang lahat ng barangay ay compliant ay ang Isabela, Kawayan City sa Isabela. We were able to monitor this and we've been doing some advocacy work. No? Kaya lang po, syempre, maliit din lang yung opisina natin, kailangan ang suporta ninyong lahat ay meron na po tayong mga ginagawa, kagaya ng mga infomercials. No? Yung iba po pinakita namin kanina bago magsimula. If you want to see them and get a copy, mamaya siguro pakita natin during lunch, no? Yung papaano maipakita ng taong kahalagahan ng oras, partisipasyon ng bawat isa. Wala sa iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan. Kaya kung yung sagot tanong po ni Tita Melly kanina, is slowly but surely we're trying to reach down to the grassroots para ang bawat Pilipino sa darating na panahon ay maging mapagpahalaga sa oras. Yun po lamang. Maraming salamat po.
Pwede na yun. Imbes na pupunta ko sa DSU ng PAGASA. And my second question pa.
Mostly kasi mga Android halos nakaano na sa satellite, so ibig sabihin halos updated nila yung mga kanilang mga time.
So okay na yan?
Okay po.
Pwede na ka?
Sa mga cellphone po natin?
Or
mga Android po?
To be in sync with the PSD?
Mostly kung talagang isisync po ninyo, yung isi-sequence na lang po natin yung binigay ni Mr. Edion kanina.
Sir, ano yung plus or minus tolerance sa radio, sa broadcasting?
Second.
Ano po yung sabihin?
Yun yung limit para hindi kayo yun yung minomonitor namin na tinitingnan namin sa TV stations. Kailangan hindi lalagpas ng plus or minus 5 seconds yung oras.
So was clarification lang kay Mr. Dilio. Kasi nagbangginan kasi noon na dapat ano kami na either plus or 1 minus plus or minus 1 second. Ayaw pumayag po yung mga karamihan noon. So nag-arrive po tayo ng plus or minus 5 seconds.
Okay. By the way, Dario de la Cruz is the chief of the Space Science Astronomy section of the Research Development and Training Division, Mr. Dario de la Cruz. Okay. Sino pa po? Ay, sorry, Mang Tani, for your question.
Hindi, tatanong na kay Dario. Kasi kahit pa paano meron tayong radio program. At pag binanggit ko Philippine Standard Time, na talaga pa lang, chinek ko ngayon, so ang GMA pala po talaga, PST yung ginagamit.
Compliant.
May nagsabi sa akin na dapat daw, pag binanggit yung PST, dapat hanggang second yung babanggitin ko, hours, minutes, and seconds. Tama ba yun? So dapat yun talaga. Minuto ang nakaraan at 50 segundo.
By the way, sorry po, sasabat na po ako. Ang approved IRR is PHST. PH represents the Philippines kasi yung PST daw is Pacific Standard Time. So during the deliberation of the IRR, it was raised by the representative from DND that PST means Pacific Standard Time. So for Philippine Standard Time, kaya PHST. So small letter for Philippines, P small letter H, and then ST. Okay, for Philippine Standard Time.
So
Okay.
dito sa akin second pagkakita dito, Philippine Standard Time.
Pwede sir kung gusto niyo, kaya lang for layman's purposes naman siguro, kasi mostly, yung nakikita namin kasi sa TV, hour, minute lang. Pero pagka mag-change, kasi pag mag-change kasi sa 00, doon namin nakikita. So, for layman's purposes naman siguro sir, okay lang naman.
Okay, sino pa po? Thank you, Mang Tani, sa tanong. Sino po? Meron pa po. Ay, Joyce. Saan na si Joyce? Nagre-raise kanina. Lumabas. Sige. Sino po? Jill Resontov, DWIZ.
Sir, yung Republic Act on Philippine Standard Time, it seems the President is not aware of the law because every time that he has official function, lagi siyang late eh. Sa media, late siya lagi ng 2 hours. Official function, 30 minutes delay. Tapos, kung ano niya itong Republic Act na sa
We will request the Office of the President to respond to that concern.
So, anong yung take siya ganun na may violation ba? Administratibo? To be honest, sabihin ko lang na nalaman nila, ilo pala itong Philippine Standard Time. So, naging conscious ako na may punishment pala ng 30,000 plus may etc. So,
The penal clauses apply only to broadcast network. In the same degree.
So would you encourage the President not to be late to comply with the Philippine Standard Time?
I'm sure the creative members of Philippine media will have ways to let him know.
Question from Joyce question from Joyce of DCMM. Yes, Joyce.
Hi, sir. Good morning po. Tanong ko lang if there's may nakikita ba kayong danger for not recognizing yung Philippine Standard Time? Kasi lahat na nababanggit natin, kagandahan, bakit siya kailangan gamitin, ano naman yung danger for not recognizing this?
Well, the impacts can vary and they're far-reaching. For example, yung time deposit mo, di ba? It will impact your interest, earnings from your time deposit. Yung birthday mo, di ba? Kung pinanganak ka ng 11:59, you were born today. But if you're born 12:01, your birthday is the next day. Diba? So may impact yun. Kung na-miss mo yung train, hindi ka nakarating on time, you can miss an important deal, diba? You could lose millions of pesos, or even a few pesos that will hurt you. You can miss your wedding time, and you can lose a spouse or partner. I mean, how big is that? Diba? So there are many ways that you can actually feel the effects of not keeping time. Kasi nagiging standard na siya. Basihan ng lahat ng gawain natin. Right? So, if you come to the airport 30 minutes before your flight and the counter is closed, you will miss your flight. Diba? And that can have terrible consequences. You may be wanting to go home because somebody is sick or about to be married or about to get married. So, you will miss that and that will pain you considerably. So, ganun po.
Sir, but na magsaysay of ABS-CBN, can I just add one more thing? So, do we have at least any study as to that has been done by PAGASA or any other agency as regards to the possible consequences, sir, as in a study actually na if you are late, we are losing this much, or this is the impact that we have to the economy. Is there any study that we have from PAGASA or any other agency within the government that has done that to prove the importance of time consciousness?
Thank you for raising that up. We're interested to find out also. But I think even business literature will bear that any savings in time will redound to gains in productivity, not only personally, but also in terms of your business, right? So, efficiency, effectiveness, profitability, all of these will benefit from keeping time well. But yes, we're very interested to find out if there are studies being done.
Okay. Sir Eden Santos from 1995. After the implementation po noong 2014, itong Philippine Standard Time Law, meron saan aspeto po ba nagkaroon ng malaking impact ito or pagbabago after more than 4 years or almost 4 years po? Sa aspeto po nagkaroon ng malaking pagbabago? Huwag na sa tao kasi hindi po talaga sila lahat sumusunod di ba? May mga nag-a-advance ng relo, may mga nag-delay. Hindi ko natin yung makuha lahat. Hindi natin makuha yung data kung ilan na ba yung mga Pilipino na talaga sumusunod dun sa PHST.
Alright, so ano ba ang nag-benefit that you're asking? So para align to the last question. I think also a lot of significant impacts are felt in areas that we do not necessarily see. And I look at maritime agreements, for example, scheduling. In fact, in I think 1844, that Greenwich Mean Time was set. Diba? The main thrust, the main industry supporting the adoption of Greenwich Mean Time was the maritime industry. We don't see that. No? But all around the world, things move based on a standard time. Right? The other area, I think, where we do not see the impact of timeliness is our communications networks, the internet, satellites, data that we gather from satellite information that are being to us from outside the Earth. So, all of these may impact na siya. If we miss, then we all suffer. And these can be slight differences, but the impacts can accumulate over time and create deeper impacts, negative impacts.
Just would like to share some small impacts that we have been monitoring and experiencing. Alam po natin medyo mahirap ito kasi ito cultural. No? Hindi natin sinasabi na mababago ang pagtingin ng tao sa oras in just say overnight. So we're looking really at this. Siguro dekada ito. But as of now, after the implementation, say about 4 years, kami po sa DOST na nagtutulak nito, buong pamilya po ng DOST, meron kami isang napansing malaking pagbabago. Sa gobyerno po ito, na nakakatuwang ipamalita dahil kung mapapansin natin ang ating mga events na magsisimula sa Launa, alam niyo po ba na ang pamunuan ng DOST ay nagsasabi sa lahat po ng opisina under namin na may event na kung hindi pa makakarating dahil sa ibang okasyon o conflict in schedule, ang mga nasa programa, we can actually start the program. We do start our program on time. Ayun po isang napakagandang implikasyon nito, resulta, na sa gobyerno, unti-unti. Hindi man natin masabing ang buong, ng gobyerno in talagang lahat. Pero kami po, napapakita na namin na we can really start on time even if the VIPs are not around. At maganda po yun, kahit ang opening remarks ay sa huli na pupunta, paminsan-minsan, at least everybody is now observing. No? There's an effort. There's an effort for us, coming from all of us, na masunod natin yung oras dahil po, ang pagsunod sa oras, simple lamang po ang ibig sabihin. Respeto po. Respeto sa kapwa-tao, respeto sa bawat isa, at higit po sa lahat, yung tungkol sa impact on economy. Marami pong study, just forgot the titles. No? If you just search sa internet, Madam Bettina, meron po doon, no? Especially ano po, foreign studies, hindi po sa pag-asa sa DOST pa so far. Yun pong productivity versus tardiness. Yun po yung mga keywords. Madali pong makita lahat doon. And these were some items that we presented during the deliberation for the law. So maganda pong pagtingnan din yun. Kami po ngayon din, ay meron kami tinitingnan isang pag-aaral on the level of awareness naman po ng mga Pilipino about the Philippine Standard Time. Yun po yung mga latest na pwede natin ibahagi sa ngayon at magagandang balita para po sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Maraming salamat.
Hindi ko po alam kung sino pwede sumagot nito. Kasi sa amin, sa istasyon namin, sa Radyo Pilipinas, we have several mga clocks. So, hindi po ito yung naka-link sa inyong server. May gumagamit po ng electric at merong battery. So, every time po, talagang nagbabago siya. So, kung pwede bang puntahan ng mga Pag-asa or ng taga-DOST para i-check yung relos namin. Kasi minsan yung relos doon sa harapan ng microphone, late ng 1 minute. Tapos yung sinusunod naming standard time ay advance naman ng 1 minute. Tapos yung mga reporter ninyo, pag nagbanggit sila, kasi every time magbigay sila ng balita, binabanggit nila yung Philippine Standard Time. Ang binibigay lang nila ay yung oras lang, hindi nila binibigay yung minutes at saka yung seconds. So, ano bang susundin doon? At gusto ko lang talaga malaman, dapat siguro merong mag-check from you, no? Kasi talagang kahit nasabihin natin na ngayon naka-standard, bukas or sa makalawa, advanced or late na siya. So, siguro kung kasama rin sa IRR ninyo na ang bawat agency ay mag-provide ng isang digital clock na nakalink sa inyong server, siguro mas maganda, di ba? Kasi kahit paano, yung mga relos hindi talaga pag-pareho.
Subukang sagutin ko, para mas hirap sagutin kung pag-asa yung pupunta sa bawat organization. Kasi yung orasan nga talaga natin, depende yung accuracy kung anong body made. Diba? Kung kami sa medyo parang mas madaling maapektuhan yung accuracy yun. Tapos kahit mas accurate yung digital yata. Sa Ilocano, digital. mas accurate yung digital kaysa sa mechanical na klaseng orasan. Tapos kung halimbawa, i-adjust natin yun, tapos puntahan ng taga-pag-asa, yung nag-raise ngayon ng concern, PTV po ba? Radyo Pilipinas. Kung ilang institution yan, mayroong mga kanyang klaseng equipment o orasan. Mahirap, siguro mas maganda siguro yung police your own rank na mayroon sigurong nakatutok para i-adjust dahil mayroon naman tayong computer Wala siguro ngayong institution na walang computer. Dahil mas madali mo i-synchronize yung computer mo doon sa Philippine Standard Time. So from that computer na nandun na yung Philippine Standard Time, doon nyo i-adjust kung ano yung time. Ganun po siguro yung magandang gawin.
Okay. Ray, your question.
Kaninang opening nyo, nabanggit nyo po na pasalamat kayo na nalunsad itong Philippine Standard Time. Then enumerate nyo yung mga bagyo because of the bagyo. Ano po yung masasabi nyo na tulong na dun sa mga bagyong nagdaan po?
Alam naman po natin yung ating accuracy sa forecasting, na in 24 hours, ang average error na meron ang World Meteorological Organization is 120 kilometers in 24 hours. So kung halimbawa nagbigay tayo ng warning or forecast track ng alas 8, tapos alas 8 kinabukasan, 24 hours, expect na yung error natin yan ay nandun sa ano na yun, sa range na yun. Ang Pag-asa ngayon ay nasa 94 kilometers yata for the past 2 years na, mula 2015, 94, 95 kilometers. So ibig sabihin, mas mababa yung error natin kaysa doon sa average na meron ng WMO. Lahat ng mga nag-forecast ng bagyo. Siguro ang magandang naitulong yung Philippine Standard Time ay ma-synchronize yung ating lahat ng observations ng ating mga istasyon. Dahil nga doon sa standard na yung ating oras, na kung diba sabi ko nga kanina, na kung nag-umpisa ka kung magbigay ka ng observation, transmission ng inyong observation, dapat alas 8 na padala mo na yung data. So yun yung sabi ko nga dati, parang nung wala pa yung Philippine Standard Time, una yata ng 30 minuto yung observation. So ibig sabihin, hindi nakasynchronize yung kanyang observed data from kung saan siya nandun yung station na yun sa buong Pilipinas. So dapat, para magkaparehas tayo, dahil makikita mo yung picture kung ano yung weather system during that period. So kung halimbawa alas 8 yung data mong kinuha, dapat alas 8 lahat yan. Para ma-analyze mo na itong oras na to, ito yung picture ng weather system na naka-apekto ng Pilipinas. So yun yung magandang tulong sa Philippine Standard Time doon sa pag-observe at sa pag-disseminate siguro ng information, dahil lahat yan ay magkakaparehas na yan from Pag-asa, lahat ng government offices, lahat ng kung sino yung sumusunod ng Philippine Standard Time.
So nakatulong din po doon sa parang yung sa lead time ninyo, nagbibigay ng lead time to warn the public and for evacuation. Nakatulong din po ba yun na magkakasync yung sa gobyerno at the same time yung sa public yung oras po?
Kasama na yan dahil synchronize na nga yung time. Bigyan ko kayo ng example yan. Kung halimbawa, yung relos mo, tapos mayroon kang hinahabol na biyahe, lalo na bumabiyahe, halimbawa, tatawid ka ng tapos hindi nakasynchronize yung time mo, tapos na-late ka dahil yung palang oras mo is advance yung oras mo or late yung oras mo. So yun yung isang tulong na dapat para masundan mo yung flow kung ano yung sinusundan mong activity. Dapat nakasynchronize yung oras.
So dati sir, nung hindi pa nalulun sa ito, magkakaiba yung time nyo sa mga observation ninyo at parang nagkakaroon ng problema doon sa syncing.
Oo. Magkakaroon talaga ng diferensya dahil hindi synchronize yung pag-observe kung ano yung parameter na yung observe.
Hindi po.
Okay, thank you. One last? Okay, yes, go ahead.
Hi sir, Kim Di po from EAB4. Question ka lang po, kasi po, di po, ang goal po ng advocacy natin is makarating po siya individual level per se. And kasama rin po yung mga private companies na dapat mag-follow po sa Philippine Standard Time. Ngayon po sir, ang tanong ko po, how do we monitor po yung compliance po ng private companies at po sa Philippine Standard Time po natin? Kasi di ba, kunwari, empleyado ka po ng private company, yung accumulated minutes mo na late ka, may impact siya, may bawa siya dun sa sweldo mo. So what if empleyado ako. So, nakita ko na hindi pala kami nagpa-follow dun sa Philippine Standard Time. So, yun po. How do we monitor yung compliance po?
Ang monitoring kasi talaga mahirap. So, mostly yung nakikita namin at saka yung nadidinig na kunwari sa radio. So, yun na monitor namin. Hindi naman namin pwedeng i-monitor lahat ng mga agencies, mga big companies. So, wala ho kaming yung kakayanan na i-monitor sila.
Sir, allow me to add something to that. Maganda po yung tanong nyo. Kasi yun po yung isang dilemma dito, paano, how you monitor the sync, how the private offices are in sync with this. I remember nung sa civil service, nung tuma-attend sila, sabi nila is, they're gonna come up with a letter ng civil service enjoining all, even private offices, to get in sync with the PAGASA Philippine Standard Time. I was not able to follow that up, but I guess they released the memo on government agencies following the Philippine Standard Time. Siguro, because of your question, the PAGASA people will have to coordinate with the civil service and including CHED to, again, in view of the observance of the Time Consciousness Week, reiterate the observance of the Philippine Standard Time in all private schools, private organization, and particularly private schools at saka government schools, and then government offices. Just reiterate, kasi it needs only a civil service memorandum to get these offices going. Address also to their HR. Kasi hindi naman yan, sabi nga ni Director Totti, ni Dr. Totti, hindi naman yan talaga overtime. With 4 years, ang tagal na talaga natin na hindi masyadong time-conscious people. But slowly, we're getting there. But I guess a memo from the civil service and CHED, so that private private higher learning institution will really get in sync with the Philippine Standard. I think, I thank you for that kind of question kasi baka nga kailangan lang i-reiterate ng civil service at saka ng CHED. Anyway, stakeholders naman sila dito sa, at saka maaayos din yung kanilang, records keeping, time-keeping sa empleyado na. Siguro, sir, pwede lang, sir, tayong sumulat sa kanila to issue another memo advising government agencies and then the CHED also for that matter. Salamat po.
Tama siguro, pero ang nakikita ko nga malayo pa o ang layo pa ng lalakbayin natin patungkol dito sa observance ng Philippine Standard Time. Unang-una, halimbawa, yung mga shipping companies na maliliit, wala naman silang oras kung kailan sila aalis dahil ang sinusunod kung kailan sila mapupuno. Kamukha ng mga jeep, wala namang oras yun kung kailan. Kung halimbawa nga, mas maganda nga itong mga Uber siguro dahil hindi naman aalis yan pag walang tumatawag. Diba? Tapos mayroon na nagpa-practice yan, yung P2P ngayon. Kung anong oras sila aalis yan kahit walang sakay. Yun yung mga importansya ng yung standard, yung observing standard time. Yung sinabi ko kanina kay Ray, ang isa pa sa nagawa ng pag-observe ng standard time, synchronized time, yung aming synchronization ng observing elements using radar. Yung aming radar ngayon, nakasynchronize yan. Kung anong oras yan mag-umpisang mag-observe, doon yan. So, synchronize kung alas 8 yan. Tuloy-tuloy na ngayon. Yung orasan ng radar station, parehas lahat yan. So, nakasynchronize yan lahat. So, kung halimbawa may sinusundan ka ngayong weather element o weather system na tumatakbo, nakasynchronize yan.
Sir, yung pagka ba hindi na ganun, pwedeng manganib yung buhay ng yung public pagka kaunting mali lang dun sa forecast?
Pwede kasing mangyaring ganyan kung halimbawa sinasabi mo ang bagyo ay nandito, yung pala nandun na sa unahan dahil sa mali yung time.
Okay. Sir, pagkasagot lang dun sa weather disturbance, paano po makakatulong yung pagsunod natin sa Philippine Standard Time dun sa pag-track po ng bagyo? Since alam naman po natin yung ating mga kababayan, pag sinabi mo na ganitong oras, yung track ng bagyo ay nasa mga ganun po, paano siya makakatulong?
Yun nga yan, sabi ko nga kanina, malaki yung role ng ating local government unit na yung mga kanilang constituent ay nakasynchronize doon sa orasan na nandun sa local government unit institution. Dahil sila din naman ay we encourage them to synchronize their clock orasan doon sa Philippine Standard Time na meron ng pag-asa.
Okay, thank you. Dahil, sir, paki-elaborate lang po parang sa...
Ito nga. Ganito po kasi yung local government unit ay meron yan silang in-encourage natin sila na mag-observe din ng Philippine Standard Time. So kung halimbawa meron sila doon, dapat sabi nga ni kasama tuti kanina na yung San Pablo ba yan? Una. Tapos yung na-propagate doon sa barangay. So dapat ganon na i-encourage yung ating local government unit na yung kanilang orasan ay makopya doon sa barangay. Para yung barangay naman din mismo ay mayroon din naman connect doon sa mga tao. Ganon yan.
Pero pag sinabi ng pag-asa na ang bagyo ay magla-landfall sa ganito or sa ganung lugar.
Yung mga ganon. Na eksaktong oras na yung bagyo ay magla-landfall sa ganito based doon sa observe natin sa mga radar station natin ay medyo hindi na, kung may malate man, ay hindi ganun-ganun kagad siguro.
May iwasan po yung mas malawak na pinsala o disgrasya. What about po yung sa Manila City, ang laki-laki po ng relo doon, ano? Pero hindi po yung tama yung oras.
Yung mga ganong klaseng orasan kasi, sabi ko mechanical, lagi mong i-adjust yun. Siguro araw-araw i-adjust yun.
Yung ba pwedeng palitan ng digital yun na malaki para kitang-kita din.
Historical value na yun, no?
Mayor, President Vera.
Last na lang po sa akin sa part ko po. Yung mga bagyong Vinta and yung ano po ba tatanggalin na po ba yung name nila? Yung dahil i-decommission na po ba? Yung ano po ba ang nangyari sa mga
meron tayong sinusunod na guidelines kung 1 billion.
1 billion, sir. 1 billion.
Pag 1 billion yung nagiging damage or may namatay siya.
And or 300, sir. 300 deaths.
I-decommission yun. Ang Vinta, ang Orduha, mukhang pumasa para i-decommission. Yung si Agaton naman, mukhang hindi naman, wala pa. Dalawa lang yata patay din.
Okay, pahabol, Ms. Bettina. Okay.
Sir, just two questions. First po dun sa, in terms of the penalty, I know the penalty is only for media outfits, but doesn't the local government unit also should play a part? Because sa kanila nakasalalay kung kailan yung mga papers na pwede kaming dumaan, kailan yung mga lunch break nila, di ba parang mas apektado ang mas maraming tao doon, mas lalo for their everyday routine? That's the first question. And then sir, yung second question, yung maganda po yung na-mention mo kanina tungkol dun sa mga time na kailangan pa natin palawig itong Philippine Standard Time kasi yung mga jeepney, yung mga barko, yung mga bus, wala naman tayong exactong time. Gusto ba natin in the future na meron ng specific time para it will help also in terms of people being late in work, in school, etc. So two questions, sir.
Ito yung sinasabi ko eh. Yung aking retention ng memory is only 5 minutes. Wala pa 5 minutes, nakalimutan
So first question muna. First question, sir, regarding the penalty for LGUs.
Siguro ibigay ko, sa din siguro yung pangalawa, pangalawang tanong. Kasi yung unang tanong ipapasa ko kayo. Yung pangalawang tanong is maganda nga talaga kung ma-synchronize, magagamit, mapropagate sa lahat ng Pilipino, sa lahat ng gumagamit ng orasan. Dahil nga maganda yung pagka nakasynchronize yan. Kung sasabihin natin, aalis yung barko na ganito, dapat nandun. Tapos kung aalis yung aeroplano na ganito, dapat ganun yung oras na susundin. Nangyari kasi sa akin yan, hindi lang isang oras, hindi lang 30 minutes. 12 oras hindi ako nakaalis. So, ito yung hindi ko alam kung gaano ka inefficient yung biyahe na yun. Dahil nga, sa halip na magbibigay ako ng mensahe doon sa isang eskwelahan, hindi ako napagbigay.
So sir, gusto nga po ba natin na sana lahat, including itong mga to?
Ito nga dapat ang purpose nito. Dapat masunod yung ating Philippine Standard Time. Hindi lang mga gobyerno, katabaho sa gobyerno, hindi lang mga malalaking private institution, kundi lahat. Yung unang tanong, bigay ko siguro kay Talits, yung penalty.
Yung penalty kasi, that was haggled to us by the media firm. So, naging 30 to 50. Maliit na yan ngayon, Barianano. But, I guess the stress on the law is actually on voluntary compliance, not more on the Philippine aspect. Ano lang yung kaakibat lang ng batas. But we are trying to put here is to usher in a discipline about time. So, yung mga media outfits naman kasi, sila yung gatekeepers of information, di ba? So, sila yung may direct access sa public. So, they can influence, they can make or break decision-making ng mga kapwa nating Pilipino. So, sila yung stress natin kasi sila muna yung dapat nating reach. Pagdating naman sa LGUs, I think there should be, wala si Secretary de la Peña, but I guess he can bring the topic, this concern to the DILG because the responders, especially in calamities, ang responders team natin is actually coming from the DILG. It's actually from the barangay level, municipal, city, and provincial. So I guess these responders, with respect to natural or man-made, human-induced calamities, sila yung talagang nakababad doon. So I guess pwedeng i-cascade ng department through the initiative of our secretary who's not here. Pero si Yusek Malano can do that also sa Indream C kasi he sits in the Indream C Council. I guess he can really ventilate that concern kasi sa Indream C yung sa disaster prevention aspect, the DOST and PAGASA is on top of that. I guess for the responders ng mga ahensya like the ILG, siguro sir, pwede natin silang i-call ang attention with respect to the PST concern. Pero ano yun gentle persuasion lang on our end para maging time conscious lang sila. Yun lang po. Ang tingin ko yun lang po yun I think we really have to make executive arrangements with them for them to be mindful of this concern on time. Salamat po.
Wala namang problema yung mga nakasulat dyan na ahensya. Sumusunod naman. Ang problema natin doon, kung paano naman makarating doon sa baba. Tsaka yung sa mga negosyante kasi pera yan Hindi mo pwedeng pwersahin. Bakit ako aalis? Wala pa akong sakay. Parang gano'n Mahirap nga talaga. Hindi nga, sabi nga ni Toting kanina, hindi pwedeng gawin natin overnight.
So, ayun, maraming salamat. Anyway po, paalala po, ito yung ating observance of National Time Conscious. This week is yearly po ito, from first week of January. No? First week of January. So, yearly po, mag-observe po natin ito. And then, probably in our IEC campaigns, no? Pwede natin isama ho tungkol sa PNCST. Okay? So, alam ko meron pa kayong mga katanungan, kaya lang medyo gutom na din tayo 12:30 na ho. So before tawagin ko si Director Burgos for his closing statement, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of some of our PAGASA executive staff. We have Dr. Cynthia Celebri, the Chief of the Research and Trade Division, Ms. Edna Guanilio, the Chief of the Climatology Agricultural Division, and of course the Chief of the Finance and Planning Division. Okay? And of course, kanina hindi ko naman na-acknowledge yung ating friends from PIA and Ms. Rio Araha of Manila Standard. Okay? So, with that, may now, STII, of course, partner po kasi natin. Of course, partner natin ang STII. Po. So, let's hear now the closing statement from Director Richard Burgos of Director of STII DOST. Sir.
Thank you, Venus. Ang sabi nila, may tatlong klase ng tao sa mundo ngayon. At nakikita ko sa loob ng conference room na ito, nandito rin sila. Ang unang uri ng mga tao ay ang mga millennials. Sino sa inyo ang millennial? Yan, may tumataas na kamay. Right? Ang mga millennials, hindi nila naabutan yung yung Greenwich Mean Time, di ba? Ang pangalawang uri ng tao ay, alam niyo ba kung ano yun? Yung mga millennials. Kumbaga, feeling millennials. Yung mga pa, selfie-selfie, yung mga pwede na mga ano, di ba? Alright, so, yung mga millennials, siguro, alam nila yung GMT, right? Greenwich Mean Time. Ang pangatlong uri ng tao, I think andito rin sila. Alam niyo kung ano yon? Yung mga may linya. May linya sa noo, may linya sa mata, may linya sa bibig, may linya. Now, pero sa tatlong uri ng tao na ito, lahat sila, lahat tayo ay mayroong expiry date. And that is time-bound. That is time-related. Okay? Darating din ang ating panahon. Okay? So, yung kailangan natin talaga to imbibe a culture of keeping time well for the benefits that we have already alluded to. Alright? And the impacts have been calculated. Actually, may mga studies pala, especially funded by JICA, about the economic impacts of, let's say, the traffic situation in Metro Manila, right? And from my quick search, I can see that the Philippine economy is losing big time on traffic jam, all right? Losing 3.27 billion per annum in human productivity. Ang laki noon. $3.27 billion per annum lost due to traffic conditions. Ang laki noon. I think that's about half of the total remittances of our OFWs. If we only solve the efficiency of our mass transport systems in the metropolis, we do not need to send half of the Filipinos to work abroad in order for them to send money back here. Ang laki ng impact ng time and on productivity. Right? So, having said that, I mean, yeah, people are concerned also about this topic, but we should continue to study the impact of time. The other thing is, STII, of course, is a strong partner of PAGASA and the other agencies there listed as members of this group. And we are dedicated, we're committed to, of course, comply with the requirement to tell time. I'd like to report that 2 of our projects have made it to the National Priority Plan. NEDA every year selects a number of government projects that are worth public support. Okay? And of 20 projects identified by NEDA in 2017, 6 come from the Department of Science and Technology. And of the 6, 2 are from STII. Ano itong dalawang ito? Number 1 is Starbucks. It's our way of deploying copies of our digital science and technology libraries to public schools without internet connectivity. Sa ngayon, to more than 2,100 sites na ang nabigyan ng Starbucks. And sinisigurado ko sa inyo na lahat ng Starbucks kiosks namin comply with the Philippine Standard Time. Kasi mayroon talaga time ng computer na yun. The other project of STI is DOST-TV. So this conference is actually being covered by DOST-TV right now. And yes, we are also complying because we are a broadcast organization. So, in closing, because everything has an expiry time, I think it's been a great pleasure hearing you, seeing you today. There's been a very vibrant discussion about time. It is something that we cannot escape, and it is something that also concerns all of us. Ito lang hinihingi ko sa inyo, coming away from this conference, and this is this. Now we know na mayroong batas that encourages all of us to adopt Philippine Standard Time. It is now our portion. It pertains to us to advocate for keeping the Philippine Standard Time. Okay? Kung meron tayong makikita na lumalabag sa batas, then we should be the first to voice out our concern or objection. The value of that objection can only be increased as more of your friends and networks join you in this campaign. So, in our world today, and this is a world that is more familiar to the millennials, okay? You like, you comment, you share, and you make your advocacy known to more people around the world. So, let's do that. Let's become advocates for keeping time and become conscious of keeping Philippine Standard Time. Thank you very much and have a good day, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard Burgos of DOST-PAGASA. Ayan. So sa lahat po, maraming salamat. Of course, we have a buffet lunch outside. Kain na po tayo. So, by the way, may utang